Guys, what's going on in Trinidad and Tobago? I definitely gonna need to hear from you. Leave your comments in the section below. This is explosive. Cops arresting the police commissioner. Cops arresting Erla. What is really going on in Trinidad and Tobago? You guys need to leave your comments in the section below. Tell me, please. I need to understand this situation. I'm reading. Someone sent some information for me, and they sent their story in the Trinidad Express. I don't I'm gonna go through it, but like I said, I need you to leave your comments in the section below. Let me know what's really taking place. I know the country is under state of emergency, but you need to let me know what is taking place in Trinidad and Tobago. This is really unnerving. Let me get to it. Says the Strategic Services Agency, which is the SSA probe, took a sudden and stunning twist yesterday when police investigators arrested Commissioner of Police Erla Harewood-Christopher and hauled her in for questioning into the importation of 2 sniper rifles for the SSA sometime in 2023. So she was hauled in for questioning yesterday, basically arrested. Yeah, she was arrested. The arrest took place on day 32 of the state of emergency, which was imposed on December 30th last year. So here you have the Police Commission of Trinidad and Tobago being arrested under a state of emergency, which she herself basically a part of declaring. Investigators assigned to the Office of the Deputy Commissioner of Police, Intelligence and Investigations under DCP Suzette Martin, so it's woman power against woman power here, spent hours interviewing the Commissioner of Police Administration building, Port of Spain, in relation to the investigation. So that's where it took place. Okay. The interview began at 3:40 p.m. and lasted for several hours into last night. Harewood-Christopher was questioning the company of her lawyer. So it's so serious that the interview went on for hours, and she was questioned in the presence of her lawyer. Asked by the Express last night whether Harewood-Christopher was under arrest, a top-level police source familiar with the complex investigation, speaking on condition of strict anonymity, responded immediately via WhatsApp, yes. So this is crazy. This is crazy. The senior source said the police will be approaching the Director of Public Prosecution for advice on the matter in due course. So this is a serious matter if you're going to the DPP. You know, sometimes police questions police on certain matters, and then you hear and say, okay, well, but they're going to approach the DPP for advice on the matter in due course. Possible charges that can be laid include misbehavior in public office and perverting the course of justice. Guys, this is absolutely terrifying and terrible. You guys need to leave your comments in the section below. The commissioner remained detained within the police administration building last night as she was questioned by a team of officers from the DCP, Intelligence and Investigations. The Express understands one of the lead officers in the matter is Corporal Agent Smith. The commissioner was questioned in the high-profile investigation that has been going on for 10 months and 24 hours after former SSA Director Major Roger Best was detained late on Wednesday evening by police officers at his home in Arima after a warrant was executed there. So you have the police commissioner being arrested. You have the former SSA Director Roger Best being detained late on Wednesday evening by police officers at his home as well in Arima after a warrant was executed. This is crazy. Absolutely mad. Senior police sources told the Express they were investigating who signed off on documents to allow the importation of high-powered weapons that later found their way to the SSA. So senior police sources told the Express they were investigating who signed off on the documents to allow the importation of the high-powered weapons that later found their way to the SSA. The warrant issued at Best Home by Sergeant Lawrence Jofield, assigned by Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of intelligence investigations connected to the importation and the purchase of 2 sniper rifles, states there's reasonable ground for believing that documents pertaining to the acquisition of the 2 Specialized Accuracy International AX2 bolt action sniper rifles and an array of high-value firearms accessories, cellular phones, including SIM cards, SD cards, images, calendars, phone books, contacts, SMS messages, email, pictures, videos, audio files, call logs, installed application data, voice recorded, etc., which there's reasonable ground for believing will afford evidence as to the commission of an indictable offense, namely misbehavior in public office contrary to common law. Best was detained on Wednesday night as part of an ongoing inquiry into the SSA's procurement of the high-grade military weapons and accessories during his tenure. He had been initially questioned last year in May for the transferring of guns and ammunition, but later released. Following Best's suspension in early March 2024, Brigadier General Anthony Philip Spencer was appointed as his replacement and was tasked with initiating an extensive review and audit of all personnel, equipment, and processes within the SSA. Best was later fired in May 2024. Apparently, this situation unraveled early March last year after Best was sent on administrative leave after questions had been raised about unqualified persons being hired in the SSA from the Jerusalem Bride Church head by Pastor Ian Brown. Brown, a self-proclaimed spy and special reserve police officer, was later stripped of his position, was also called in for questioning about the weaponry in his possession. He was later charged with misbehaving in public office for having in possession 4 prohibited firearms and 360 rounds of ammunition. Later granted bail. So what did Rowley said? In July 2024, Prime Minister Keith Rowley revealed the disturbing findings of the SSA audit in a statement to Parliament, saying, shockingly, the audit discovered that the former SSA director initiated the procurement of high-grade military bolt-action rifles, complete with the most modern silencers and other accessories, and the SSA was engaged in training specially selected questionably hired personnel in the skill of the use of such weapons. In his statement, Rowley said he was alarmed that the SSA by the 2022 had ordered 100,000 rounds of ammunition, and there was an increase from 24 firearms in 2016 to 103 firearms in 2021. PM said it was only on the 1st of November 2023, upon the request from the then SSA for the agency to bear arms in certain restricted circumstances and reasons offered, that Cabinet approved and Parliament authorized staffers to keep and carry concealable pistols whether on duty or not. This matter, Madam Speaker, is gaining the attention of the police as we speak. You know, this sounds to me as if the police had reached their bearings on what is going on with crime. It doesn't sound to me as if something really nefarious took place per se with the police. It almost sounds as if they just had a special grouping of people they wanted to deal with criminals out there, and it wasn't authorized. That's how it sounds to me. But I can't make a final determination on that. We have to wait and see what the investigation puts out. But this is very, very interesting where you're hearing the police commissioner is being arrested. You know, it's interesting that, Trinidad and Tobago is a different place. And in different Caribbean islands, you know, this police commissioner may not have even been arrested. So it's good still to see that there's a civilized society where there are processes and things are happening. And even if you're at the top of the food chain, that you can be dealt with despite. That's very good to see still in Trinidad and Tobago. Guys, leave your comments in the section below. This is very, very, very interesting. I have to continue reading this and really sort out this in my head, but this is very, very interesting. Remember to like, share, and subscribe.